to Light Mass Incarceration Show. I am your host, Cierra Cobb. Light Mass Incarceration Show is a space that is used to uplift the unheard voices of the criminal and social justice issues that many face today. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you enjoy. Welcome back to another episode. You are listening to the Light Mass Incarceration Show, where we shine the light exactly where some people would rather it never go, inside of our jails, prisons, and the system that keep our people trapped there. Today's episode is going to be a little bit different. Instead of talking about injustice, incarceration, treatment, we are going to talk about what happens when you name it out loud and certain people decide to come for you. So I had a special guest named Jabril, who is currently a correctional officer inside of the Cook County Jail in Chicago, and was just speaking about a lot of what he's dealt with when it comes to what goes on inside the jail, what happens to officers when they speak up for themselves. And it really brought a light to our audience to understand what correctional officers go through. A lot of us have loved ones incarcerated. And, we just hear the stories. And so he really brought light for us to understand better that not all officers are the same. A lot of them really want to help, but can't because of upper administration. And so he was telling us those things. And I guess some people didn't like that. Let me remind you, that was the most viewed on YouTube and the most liked episode that I've done over my career of doing Light Mass Incarceration Show. And so somebody didn't take too kind to that audience. And as you see, I have on the screen, it is a Facebook group called TL700 CCDOC Armory. And so they made a post yesterday about, I guess they just now listening to the episode or finding out about the episode, and decided to go on a smear campaign against Jabril, and then decided to add me into it because I hosted him. So as you can see on the screen, I will read it to you. It says, "This idiot doesn't know the damage he just caused by putting this timeline of events out for everyone to see during an active investigation of recently instead of what recently happened in RTU. His actions are not just placing the officers involved at risk of losing their jobs, but being criminally charged for negligence. He actually states that officers failed to intervene and had culpability in the inmate's death. Sorry, incarcerated, because we don't use the words. He's given the public and administration all the ammunition needed to go after the officers. He's not a whistleblower hero. He's actually a coward behind a keyboard who will throw every officer on this compound under the bus to promote his own agenda. It seems like he's actively trying to get fired so he can just sue the department. So far, he's done a podcast with a incarcerated, as you know, they say inmate's girlfriend, which I'm not a girlfriend, who was accused of bringing drugs in the Penal Institute. And who uses the word penal? Anyway, we'll get further into that. Where he also talked negatively about the officers at CCDOC, and now putting out another blog saying officers are at fault for the death of somebody incarcerated inside of their jail. So, as you see, that was a smear campaign and possibly defamation. And then I was brought into it because I gave him space, a platform, and a voice to voice his concerns and everything that he's doing, trying to protect other officers that feel the exact same way that he does, but of course are scared when you have posts like this. To me, this post is incriminating. To me, it tells me that they feel like they are responsible for what happened, whatever happened inside that jail, and they are mad at him because he's telling and he's not keeping the code. So let's really get into it. They posted about our guest. They called him an idiot. They said he was trying to get fired so he can sue. They claimed he was putting officers at risk of criminal charges, just telling the truth about what happened in the unit. And they dragged me into it, saying that I'm an inmate's girlfriend who tried to smuggle in drugs in the penal system. So let me stop you right there, TLC, or whatever you want to call yourself. TL, what is it? TL700 CCODC Armory. That's a lie. It's reckless, it's baseless, and it's a dangerous lie. I'm not an inmate's girlfriend. I've never tried to smuggle any drugs into a facility. I've never been charged with anything like that. There's no evidence because it never happened, first and foremost. Secondly, what did happen is this. I created a platform to expose harm and corruption inside of jails and prisons. I invited someone on the show who lives this reality every single day, every second of his life, that he has to go in there to provide for his family inside of the system. He told the truth about what he has witnessed, about failures to protect people in custody and patterns of neglect that happens over and over and over, and the real human cost when staff doesn't intervene. You have families that are suffering because they're losing their loved one in jail when they haven't even been convicted. And that's a whole nother story. You see so much about them redoing bail and whole nother episode about that. But anyway, this is what happens when you tell the truth. You get attacked. You've done the movement work, you know it by heart. I've done the movement work, I know it by heart. Been doing this for 6 years of my life and ongoing. For one, they discredit the messenger. They said he's an idiot, he's a coward, he's just trying to sue. Second, they smear people who give him a microphone. She's an inmate's girlfriend. She's smuggling drugs. She's dangerous. Three, they avoid actual issues at all costs. Don't talk about unsafe conditions. They don't talk about the failure to intervene. They don't talk about the people who died in state's custody. Because if we talk about that, then somebody actually might have to be held accountable. So let me be very clear. When people go this hard to attack your character, it's because they do not want to talk about your content. They do not want to talk about why the cell is inhumane. They don't want to talk about why nobody has intervened. They don't want to talk about why families are burying loved ones who are supposed to be in the state's care. So instead, they go for a smear campaign. They go for your character. They gossip. They go for a lie that they hope will stick long enough to scare you into silence. It's not going to scare me. As I've stated before, and as you've heard my episode about me being suspended from visitation for a lie that I have uncovered happens a lot at that facility. It hasn't just happened to me, it's happened to a lot. But luckily, those people have been able to get it resolved because they've had legal backup. I haven't had that. I've been working on this issue on my own for 2 years now. Don't worry, it will get resolved. It sure will. But it's not going to stop me from doing this work. It's not going to stop me from being a voice for the voiceless. It's not going to stop me from having a platform that now has turned into other people on that side of the fence have come over here to advocate and say, you know what? Prisons and jails in America are inhumane. The treatment is inhumane. The way that we go about security is not right. Like I did an episode with a guy who used to be a warden who said that he's trying to help prisons adopt the Norway model because it's important that we still treat our human beings as humans. We have been cultivated to think that because somebody committed a crime or you think somebody committed a crime, because let's not forget, we have a lot of people that are wrongfully convicted, that are innocent, that are sitting in prison, have spent half of their lives, if not all of their lives in prison, and some have even got the death penalty and were innocent. So not all and everybody of the population of people incarcerated are guilty of a crime. So let's understand that they still need to be treated as humans. I've always said, we can't put dogs in cages, but we can put humans in cages. It makes absolutely no sense to me. None. So since they're working overtime to tell a false story about me, let me tell you exactly and actually who I am. My name is Cierra. I am the executive director of I Kare NC. I am the host and co-creator of Light Mass Incarceration Show. My husband is the founder. My work is to support youth and families impacted by the system, bring truth tellers, including officers, staff, people incarcerated, and families to the mic, document every pattern of abuse, neglect, and corruption that people in power want to bury. I am not a side character in someone else's rumor. I am not an inmate's girlfriend sneaking contraband through the back door. I am a wife, I'm a mother, and I'm a business owner. I'm a woman who has devoted her life to exposing what happens behind the doors so fewer families have to suffer. Those false accusations don't say anything real about me or who I am and what I represent, but they say a whole lot about the people making them. They tell me you're scared of the truth that has been spoken on this show. You're angry that someone from inside crossed the line and came over here to us. You're watching this platform and you feel a ground shifting under your feet. The ground is moving, it's shaking and it's shifting, and they are scared. Because here's what they didn't plan for. After that episode dropped, more and more people, so called on the other side of the fence, have reached out. Staff, officers, people who've worn the uniform, people saying, I've seen that same thing. I'm tired of the corruption. I don't want to be a part of this anymore. And just let's just think about that. That is true because as you see, America has been struggling to keep prisons and jails fully staffed. First, they said it was COVID. And then it moved from COVID to the fact that a lot of people have opened their eyes. They see the light. They see that the way that people are treated inside of prisons who really actually want help, who want to change, they can't give them that help because they have been stigmatized to say, oh, well, you're inmate lover, which we don't call people inmates because language does matter. But they put them in a category like they're just the worst person in the world because they want to help somebody that's incarcerated. And that's where we are today in America. We just want to throw our people away. We don't want to help. There's no such thing as helping somebody get better. There's no such thing as advocating for somebody that's innocent. It's, oh, well, they committed this crime on paper and we must judge them as what the paper says. So let's just be honest. They're pressed. For you to go make a whole post 2 months later after this episode has aired, been the most viewed and the most liked, and you make a post about it yesterday because you're in your feelings, evidently something happened and you're possibly being held accountable. So now you want to smear Jabril and then you want to bring me into it because I gave him space to tell his story and to tell his truth and to speak up and be the speaker for other officers that feel the exact same way he does. It's not going to stop me, but I thank you for the attention. So now I want to speak directly to that page, which I've been speaking directly, but let's get more in depth. And anyone who read the post and came over here to see what I had to say. First, welcome. You're clearly listening. Grab a chair, sit down, stay, enjoy your time here. It's a very good time here. But let's get something straight. You have every right to disagree with me. I'm not going to say you don't. You have every right to defend your profession, your coworkers, and your perspective. But what you don't have the right to do is invent criminal behavior and attach it to my name, suggest I am some kind of drug mule with zero proof, and use misogynistic language like inmate's girlfriend to reduce me from an organizer and a journalist to a stereotype. That's what you don't have the right to do. When you do that, you're not defending your coworkers. You're not protecting the department. And you're not proving exactly why you're actually proving exactly why people don't trust the system, why they don't have trust in correctional officers. Because you try to hide things and lie about things and then smear people when they bring the truth. Because if you lie this easy on Facebook, what will you put on an incident report? If you smear a podcast host for asking questions, what will you say about a person in custody who can't defend themselves? That's why platforms like this are necessary. We exist because too many people have been disciplined, silenced, transferred, or buried for telling the truth inside of those institutions. And that's what it is. So for all my fellow advocates, podcasters, family members, even officers who are pushing back from inside, this is what we mean when we say the ugly doesn't like to be exposed. They don't like when you expose the underbelly. The moment you shine light into a dark room, something scaries. And they will call you a liar. They will call you biased. They will call you crazy. They will drag your name through the mud. And sometimes the lies are loud like this Facebook post. But other times they're quiet whispers in the HR meetings, performance reviews, or informal warnings to other staff about you. If that's what's happening to you, hear me. You're not alone. You're not crazy. You're not overreacting. You're touching a nerve that they never wanted touched. That's what you're doing. And you're standing up for what you know what's right. And you're fighting the good fight. So don't let anybody, I don't care what profession you're in, what you do, never let anybody make you feel any certain way about what you're doing when you know it's right. You always do what's right. And trust me, the truth will set you free. And I want you to notice something. For all the energy people put into calling us names, have you noticed how rarely they actually answer the facts? Were the policies followed? Did someone die who was supposed to be kept safe? Are the patterns of neglect and abuse, are they ongoing patterns? Those are yes or no questions. But when the system don't want to answer those, you know what they do? They answer with character assassination instead, which is the lowest of the low. As you can see, they did Jabril and dragged me into it. So let me reinstate our mission on this show so there is absolutely no confusion about what we do and why we are here. We will continue to give space to whistleblowers, officers, staff, and the incarcerated people and their families who want to tell the truth. We will continue to document stories of harm, neglect, and abuse inside jails and prisons. We will also continue to challenge a culture that prioritizes protecting itself over protecting human life. That is what we do here at Black Light Mass Incarceration Show. And if that makes you uncomfortable, if that threatens your worldview, your job, or your image, I want you to sit with why. Because a system that truly valued integrity wouldn't be angry at people who tell the truth. It would be angry at the people who keep creating the conditions we're talking about. It wouldn't accuse me of smuggling drugs. It would ask, what can we learn from this episode so no one else dies, so that no one else is treated inhumane, so that person that is currently incarcerated in jail or prison can make it home to their families. Because let's get it straight. Most people are just trying to do their time. They're not trying to go in there and be a problem. They're trying to go in there and do their time and get to their families and get back to their freedom. So, to everybody who has been writing with Black Light Mass Incarceration Show, I love y'all. Your messages, the prayers, the comments, the shares, the likes, they matter. And I appreciate all your support. Black Light Mass Incarceration Show is listened all over the world, not just the United States, but all over the world. And I appreciate all of your love, all of your support from all over the world, every language, every culture. Thank you for supporting us. Even though we aren't as active as we used to be, because, I'm a busy woman. I am executive director. I'm out here trying to help these young people stay away from the system so they don't have to deal with this. I'm trying to give them light to show them better, give them mentors, somebody to look up to, and understand that you can be anybody you want to be as long as you put your mind to it. As long as you feel good about yourself and helping them feel good about themselves. That is what I'm out here doing. I'm always going to be committed to Black Light because this is one of my first loves. But your girl's out here working. She out here in the community, out here trying to make sure kids stay away from the system. If they're in the system as a juvenile, make sure they stay away from the system as an adult, because that's what is important to me. Our youth, our generation, they're going to be the ones here after we're gone. And I want to make sure that they're set on a right path, and that they are thriving and achieving their goals instead of being incarcerated, being warehoused. So this reminds me, and the support that I get from Black Light reminds me that this work is bigger than just one post, one page, one person. You remind me that every loud voice trying to drag us, there are dozens quietly saying, thank you, keep going. I thought I was the only one seeing this. And to the families listening who've lost loved ones in custody, you know this is pain. You know this pain. You know how quickly the system will blame the person who died, blame the family, blame everyone except them. But just know Black Light is here. We're here to support you. We're here to help you in any way we can. We're here to give you a voice, a platform, so that you can tell your story. Not everybody else's story, not let everybody else tell your story, but for you to tell your story of your loved one or your experience with the system. If watching them lie on me brings up something old and raw for you, I see you. And I promise this microphone will stay on. I've been lied on. This is the second time I've been lied on. But it just gives me more fuel to my fire to keep going, because I know I'm doing something right. I know I'm shaking something somewhere, shaking the ground somewhere. And I'm going to continue to shake it until the day that I leave this earth, because this is my passion. This is my purpose. This is what I was put here for. And I know that other side is always going to come after me and not like me for what I do. But understand, there's many people that appreciate the things that I do, because when you're not directly impacted by this situation, it doesn't bother you. But when you are, it does bother you. It bothers your soul to know that we treat other human beings as if they're nothing, as if they're perfect and nobody else makes mistakes. There's plenty of people that made mistakes that just didn't get caught. And we're not going to get into the people that I can think on top of my head, but y'all know who I'm talking about. I'm sure y'all know plenty of people that have done some things but just didn't get caught. So nobody's perfect. So while we try to sit here and separate ourselves from people that are incarcerated to people that are free, we're no different. We all have flaws. We all have hidden secrets, but it's about coming together as a community and helping to get better and to understand and to get through trauma. Because a lot of people who are incarcerated have been through trauma. I don't think there's not a person on earth who hasn't been through trauma. Some know how to handle it, some don't. So one more thing, you all. To the officers, sergeants, lieutenants, and staff who tried, who are watching your coworkers cut corners, who are scared that what happened in the unit could happen again, my door is open. I'm here to let you tell your story, whether it's anonymously or whether you want your information out there. I'm here. If you're ever ready to step out of the corruption and into the light, reach out. You can always contact me confidentially through our show's email. You can contact me. We don't have socials for Blacklight, but we do have socials for I Kare, which is connected to Blacklight. So you can go to I Kare and you can contact us through there. We're on LinkedIn, Facebook, working on TikTok and Instagram. But right now you can find us on Facebook and LinkedIn. Come on the show anonymously if you need to. You don't have to show your face. You don't have to say your name. We can find a way to distort your voice if you feel more comfortable with sharing your story that way. Whatever you need to do to get the story out, we're here. I'm not your enemy. The truth is not your enemy. The real enemy is the system that will throw you under the bus the second it needs a scapegoat. Just like it tried to throw our guest under the bus, and just like it's trying to throw me under the bus now, some of you already know that. That's why you've been sliding into the DMs after episodes. Keep doing it. Keep reaching out. Keep sharing. And I'm here to support you. You're not alone. So this is probably not as long as the episode as normal, but I had to share this because Jabril brought it to my attention. I had no idea about this post, really could care less about this post because it doesn't stop anything that Blacklight's doing. It doesn't stop anything that Cierra, Cobb, executive director of I Kare NC, is doing. Yes, a page connected to corrections staff lied on me. Yes, they try to discredit our guests and our work on this platform. And no, I will not be silenced, intimidated, or distracted. If anything, they can just confirm exactly why this show exists. Because when the truth is dangerous to people in power, that means the truth is powerful. So we're going to keep telling it. We're going to keep exposing the underbelly of this system. We're going to keep inviting people across the fence, from corruption to accountability, from silence to voice, and from darkness to light. If you're with me, share this episode, tag someone who needs to hear it, and support our work that we're doing at I Kare NC. And most importantly, don't let lies drown you out of the truth you know in your spirit. Once again, y'all, I'm your host, Cierra, and this is the Light Mass Incarceration Show. And thank you for listening. And as always, remember, we shine the light where they least want it. That is a wrap for this episode of Light Mass Incarceration Show. I am your host, Cierra. I want to thank you for spending this time with us, listening, learning, and refusing to look away. The stories we share are not just content, they are people's lives, families, and future. If this episode moved you, don't let it stop here. Share this show with someone who needs to hear it. Follow us on YouTube and any major streaming platform where you get your podcasts. Subscribe, leave a comment, leave a review so more people can find these stories. Stay connected with our work at I Kare NC and learn how to get involved and support youth and families impacted by the system. Remember, every time you choose truth over silence, you're helping to dismantle the cages seen and unseen. Until next time, keep your heart open, your mind sharp, and your light pointed right at the places they'd rather keep in the dark. This is the Light Mass Incarceration Show. We see you, we believe you, and we're not backing down. Peace.